OMG! What's up, BBGs? We're back with another Hasbro unboxing, and now we're going a little bit backwards. This is SlingShock products. But this is a hype one though. This is Turbo Spryzen, guys. So, Bey has made it into Hasbro. Yeah, finally finding it in stores here, and honestly, it's pretty sweet. I mean, original colors and stuff. Obviously, the gimmicks are a little bit different, right? Because it has like those SlingShock drivers. But overall, I mean, it's just nice to see Bey. Because, you know, we're not really seeing Shu in Beyblade Burst GT right now, so it's kind of refreshing to kind of go back and finally see one of our favorite characters again. But yeah, balance type Bey. I guess we can take a look at the back of the box here, see what we got. Of course, we got Turbo Spryzen energy layer, and then still looks like we get that zero wall combination. So pretty sweet. I mean, if you don't have that wall frame, pretty good way to get it, right? You don't have to buy the full like Z set from Takara Tomy, so you could just buy this one starter pack, get that wall frame. And then we have the Hasbro version of the Zeta dash, and yeah, it's a SlingShock driver. We gotta show you guys what's up with it. It's different. SlingShock stats, both the speed and power, 3 on each side. But yeah, for a balance type, I mean, the attack is pretty high up there. Look at that, 9, and then weight is at 8, which is, you know what, that's pretty expected actually, because, you know, zero wall, heavy combo. But yeah, well-rounded. You know, you got 4 in defense, 4 in stamina. I mean, the burst is at 2 though.
So this is a SlingShock Bey, not a Switch Strike Bey. So it's meant to go around that SlingShock rail system. But yeah, you guys will see in the driver later on. I don't know if this should have been considered like a SlingShock one, or maybe you should have just stuck with the Switch Strike.
Okay, so right before we unbox this Bey, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you won't miss our next video. Let's see what we got inside. Because this also has turbo blades on it too. It's like always like people's favorite and stuff like that, and we fall into that category too. Alright, right off the bat, very lightweight of course, but nice seeing those original colors like I said. Zero wall, great combination right there. Heavyweight and the driver. Alrighty guys, let's take a look at the parts. So let's start off with the layer. Of course, like we've been saying, original colors do look pretty awesome. No metal at all. The layer is still dual spin, so you can actually change that on the back as well by using the ripcord that's on your launcher to change it. But yeah, we'll show you guys that in a little bit. You basically just twist it and yeah. QR code right down the center there, so go ahead and take that and put that into your app. The turbo blades are still intact, which is nice. Hasbro didn't remove it. So yeah, all of the bays that are supposed to have turbo blades have them. So you know what? We gotta applaud them for that. And yeah, they just get activated by, you know, launching really hard. And then we'll have to demonstrate that in a little bit.
Right now the blades are inside, so they're recessed. But when you launch it super hard, they come out to give you better burst resistance.
Yeah, and Hasbro basically says that the turbo blades, when they come out, it also gives you some extra attack power too. You want to launch hard enough to activate them.
If you are playing against other Hasbro Beys, yeah, Turbo Spryzen is pretty OP.
And then of course, classic zero disc. We've seen this a bajillion times now, guys. It was in Spryzen Requiem as well, right? The zero disc. But now for Turbo Spryzen, they added the wall frame. And man, the wall frame is thick and it's a pretty heavy one too. It is prone to scraping quite a bit on the stadium, so you do have to be careful about that. But I mean, it's a really nice addition though for a lot of combos. So like we were saying earlier, if you don't have the wall frame, you should probably pick up this Bey. Okay guys, finally let's move on to the performance tip. This is Hasbro's version of Zeta dash. Wow, there's lots to talk about for this, because this is a pretty controversial part, I guess, because there's like so many things that are kind of like odd about it. So of course, normally with Zeta dash you have 3 different modes. With SlingShock added to this tip, there's technically 4 modes. But yeah, let's go over it. So this is the stamina mode, of course, right? You guys are familiar with it. Basically very circular. It has a small plastic dot right in the center so that you can just chill in the middle if you land properly. Now, when you pull it, it's actually pretty hard to pull it up, because there's not much like distinction between pushing it down and pulling. Like it just slides a little bit. There's no obvious click when you like pull up or push down.
It's not satisfying.
Exactly. And it does make it pretty hard to turn. So of course, this is your attack mode, right? We call it the kind of like the little foot driver, because it's like rectangular. Really interesting shape. But yeah, it moves pretty quickly around the stadium. But yeah, this one is, you know, usually our go-to driver on this right here.
It's like most fun to use.
Definitely. So now, the last one, of course, is supposed to be your defense mode, right, guys? So that's the hardest one to actually work with because like when you pull it up and try and twist it, it almost gets like stuck.
You gotta like
when you're rotating. Pressure. Yeah, you like really have to turn it.
That.
All right.
Driver.
So this is technically your defense mode. So let's do a quick comparison. Here we have Takara Tomy's, you know, actual Zeta dash driver, and then we have Hasbro's version. You might not be able to tell right away, but Hasbro's version, the main center, like the platform that the Bey actually spins on, is much flatter, like way flatter. So when you put it into defense mode, it's actually going around the stadium pretty darn fast, like almost even faster than the attack mode.
Because like the Takara Tomy version on the right side, that one's more like a ball driver.
Exactly. It's more well-rounded and stuff like that, so it acts more of like a defense type, but like what it's supposed to be. But yeah, I just find it odd because Hasbro basically flattened it and made it more aggressive than the attack type.
And that's probably why they made this a SlingShock Bey, because they changed the driver a little bit to accommodate that, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so this is kind of weird. It's like, okay, we get it. It's supposed to be SlingShock, but at the same time, it's like you got rid of the actual defense attribute. So according to instructions, when you obviously pick the driver you want to use, you're supposed to press down to lock it in, right? With the defense driver, to technically lock it into defense mode, you always actually end up putting it into SlingShock mode. Because there's no distinction between SlingShock and the defense mode.
Yeah, so I thought you said it was a defense mode before. Like, how did that just change into SlingShock mode?
Exactly. So technically, this would be defense if you leave it raised.
Wait, but then you launch the Bey, then wouldn't it just like land on the tip, and then wouldn't it just change into SlingShock mode? And then it would just push down.
Exactly. That's like my biggest thing about this driver.
What is going on?
It's so confusing about like the defense mode and the SlingShock mode. It's essentially the same thing.
It's a performance tip that doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, it's really odd, guys. Yep, according to instructions, you're supposed to press down to lock it into your desired mode. So I mean, if I want defense and I push it down to lock it, I also just change it to SlingShock mode.
So it's kind of hard to know what it wants to do.
Basically, how we are classifying this as is that it doesn't have a defense mode anymore, guys. That's what it feels like anyways when you use this Bey. Okay, so that's enough about the driver. Right before we put the Bey together, let's show you guys how to change the direction of the energy layer for all you newer BBGs. But yeah, take your ripcord, put it into the middle slot, and then you can basically twist to change directions from left to right. And then it'll click, or basically make a locking sound every single time. And there are letters on the back as well. There's R and L to help you determine if you're in right spin mode or if you're in left spin mode. Alright, let's put the Bey together. So we'll put the 0 disc back in with the wall frame.
And I guess depending on which wind direction your opponent is at, you can kind of adjust it to play accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people will probably like the left spin mode too. Alright, so yeah, there we go, guys. Final product there, that's Turbo Spryzen S4. That's pretty nice. I mean, it has a pretty decent weight for a Hasbro Bey, to be honest with you. Do you guys already have it? Do you want to pick it up? What do you think about that new SlingShock driver that kind of fused the SlingShock and defense mode together? And of course, let's weigh out the combination, just like how we always do. Hasbro Turbo Spryzen S4.
50.63 grams.
I mean, for a Hasbro Bey hitting the 50s,
yeah,
that ain't bad.
Crazy.
Like, that's not bad, right? And here's a comparison with the Takara Tomy version.
53.9, so it's only 4 grams heavier than the Hasbro version.
That's not bad, guys. When we're talking about Hasbro versus Takara Tomy here, like, that's not that big of a difference. But yeah, I mean, the biggest difference is that driver for sure. All right, Turbo Spryzen S4 is launched a little bit harder here to get those blades out. 3, 2, 1, let it. So yeah, launching the stamina mode. I'll slow it down a little bit here. See, those blades are out.
There we go. So got 1, 2.
And as Hasbro advertises, the 2 teeth, or the blades basically that come out on both sides, it adds some additional attack power as well.
And the main purpose of these turbo blades are to help the Bey with burst resistance. As the Bey is unlocking, maybe through some crazy battles, these tabs will help kind of keep the Bey intact.
Alright, let's do some test battles.
Okay, you're going to go up against Achilles, Turbo Achilles to be exact.
3, 2, 1. Dude, outplayed with that stamina tip. Alright.
Oh no, waste all my stamina.
That's the easy way to win, but let's step it up a little bit. Let's go into the attack mode. Attack tip. 3, 2, 1. Oh, baby. Nice. Oh yeah, look at that. Both of the locks activated too. So let's move it over to that SlingShock tip slash defense slash defense, because not really sure what it is. 3, 2, 1. Now it's kind of like defensive now. Oh, last second burst.
Sick.
Dude, and Spryzen's like barely moving too. This is probably like one of the best Hasbro Beys that you can get for SlingShock.
And next one we got Angard.
3, 2, 1. A little bit of scraping from that wall frame. Nice.
Ogre.
Oh, well, we know how this is gonna go.
3, 2, 1. Oh no.
Yikes.
Everybody expected that. Wonder Valtryek.
3, 2, 1. No! Get out of there. Oh, nice. Well, I have more stamina anyways, actually.
Oh, I just flipped over.
Flipped you over. Okay, BBGs, that is it for our unboxing on Turbo Spryzen S4. What do you guys think? Do you guys like this one? To be honest with you, for a Hasbro Bey, it's probably like the best one you can get, especially for like the SlingShock series. Obviously, still not as good as Takara Tomy, right? Because it's missing metal, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, overall, if you're gonna buy any type of SlingShock Bey, I would buy this one. Alright guys, so that's it. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and as always,
Geeks out.